sick of the blues. Down and out, downing shots or whatever liquor you choose. Drowning thoughts of a life you've been used. Where you can grind it out till the situation is feeling all I've had it better than most. Probably had it better than Los. Here we are on the same track. Like two trains about to collide. Both waiting on good karma that never came back. And after saying that, I don't even believe it. I don't believe in fate. I believe in faith. Fate says I have no control over the direction of my soul. It's been written. My future's a formality. But faith believes that for the life in this present reality, the only thing that comes between faith is you depending on the path you choose. Now that'll give you the blues if you don't make the adjustments. If you don't take a bite out of life big enough to touch it by cussing. And I'm not trying to question your toughness. I've just seen your reluctance. When's the last time you trusted your judgment? Or your whole mind, body, and soul wasn't controlled by a substance. What we deem injustice often resulted from things we constructed. Such is life. We view justice like whatever might be right for ourselves. A slight retribution for living in this hell. And I might reconsider once my deeds are laid upon those scales. Weighed upon those scales and come up a little lighter than when I weighed them on myself. Sadly, half of me hopes to be taken out of this agony. The other half just smells happily. That's my duality crazy. That's my mentality lately. Besides, karma don't come back that strong here, baby. Well, maybe.
Welcome to episode 12 of Earth Weird as Fuck. I'm your illustrious host, the Ancient One, sitting next to the GOAT, living legend Los. If Lloyd Harvey was a man, he'll be that nigga right there. You heard me? Big GOAT energy.
I appreciate that, dog. I told you I like that living legend.
Living legend Los. This number 12. This the Tom Brady episode.
Tom Brady.
Ain't no greater 12. Ain't no greater athlete, is there?
We ain't finna go into no athlete type shit. He might be the best football player, best quarterback, but he's not the greatest athlete.
Plus, since you stay getting put in Facebook jail and then getting out later that day, 12 is your favorite number. Police ass nigga. Boy, I know you read it.
12 and 10, he be dropping dimes.
Facebook was glitchy all day right after you got out. I'm like, hold on, man.
It was glitchy.
It was glitching like a bug.
Yeah, that was that fucking wire you got. You must have gotten some water.
The tracker you put on me.
Yeah, hell no, dog.
Hey, man, but regardless of all that, we got one of my favorite Facebook personalities. I don't know him in person, but
I think
Big Marsh.
I think he is who he is on Facebook, but
I wouldn't doubt it.
I do have to announce that I think Corey is. I'm not sure, but this is the real first member of the Los Elite to hit the podcast. So we got to give it up for that.
Yes, sir.
This, you know what I'm saying? The first real member of Los Elite finally came over, and we'll explain all that shit to you later. You know what I'm saying? But how you feeling, Marsh, man? What's good with it, bro?
Good, man. Good. Tired. Played a little golf this morning. Did a little work.
See what I'm talking about?
And wife and kids are gone somewhere, so life is good.
Brother.
See what I'm saying? See? Los Elite, golf.
Golf, yeah.
And he did some work after he got a couple of...
I don't even own clubs.
I'm talking about a deck of cards.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about?
But Marsh, usually we bring guests on after the top 5, dog. But I had to have you on for this top 5, bro, because I want to get your input onto it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to just dive into the top 5, dog, all right?
All right.
Los's top 5 today is the top 5 No Limit albums ever made. Woo! All right?
Ooh.
All right, so number 5. The Shocker by Silk the Shocker. That's
really?
number 5.
That's low to me.
That's low?
To me.
I fuck with it. Because a lot of people just don't listen to Silk. And those beats on that hoe, oh my goodness. It's like P gave Silk all the best beats. Like if you did 20, just pick 20 No Limit songs, I bet you Silk on 10 of them hoes. Like your favorite 20 No Limit songs.
You know what? I take that back. I take it back. I was thinking about charges to the game. My fault.
I see the Shaka is better than Charger to the game.
Charge to the game got a good 10 slappers on that thing.
I don't know, dog.
I just jammed that whole yep today. It's hard.
Marsh, what you like, Shaka or Charger to the game?
Chargers to game is better to me. I think Shocker is more raw. Uh, it might be better overall as a rap album, but if you just want to listen to something, it's hard to beat Chargers to the game.
I'm
It
interested
ain't
in that.
it ain't my fault.
It's a lot of you ain't got a lot of kick it.
You ain't got a lot of kick it.
Oh, that's fluff, dog. I need that gangster shit. I got twin Glocks like Tamara and Tia. That's what I need to hear right
Hey,
there.
don't do this, dog.
Dog, I'm telling you, bro. The Shaka is better than Charger to the game.
One of my favorite No Limit songs, How Many on there. Let Me Hit It.
Let me hit it. That's a solid.
mm.
But what
Yeah.
about this? Niggas just don't know that I'm taxing all. Come on, man. We ain't finna
Okay.
go down there.
I'm gonna throw one more in there, then we can move on.
Okay.
See, I don't want to be here if
I
I
don't
don't
got
got.
it.
Hey, bro, that's
We gonna get into that cat.
hard.
We gonna get into that cat because I
That
got a
shit
lot of
hard.
shit to say about the dude who was
Capital
saying
F.I.
those words. All right.
Do you think?
So that was number 5, the Shock album. Number 4 is the TRU album.
Which one?
That's low.
That the compilation album.
The Truth to the Game?
True to the Game, yeah. The double disc.
Yeah,
That's low.
That's a hard. That's
Yeah.
okay.
But look, Marsh,
ahead.
I did research, dog. Like, I'm just not out here throwing shit out here. I listened to all of those albums, and it was a lot of misses on that double disc.
It was. I listened to it today.
It was a lot of misses. now I do have like life experiences tied to this shit. So I done told you the story. So we went to the West Monroe game. Carroll was playing West Monroe. That was the game Floyd dunked on the white boy.
Ducked on the 7-footer.
Yeah, the 7
He
footer.
banged on it too.
So we leave that. We go to the Armory, a party at the Armory.
National Guard Armory.
We hide in a motherfucker. My boy Bug, he put that double disc in, and Swamp Nigga came on. Swamp Nigga has to be our what's the song
Like
Nas got?
Dipset anthem or something like
State
that.
of
Oh,
New
yeah.
York State of
New York
Mind.
Hey,
Swamp Nigga was that for me,
That
man.
shit
And
hard.
when the beats change, my intoxicated brain, it was way too much for it.
with that sensory overload.
Yes, it was way too much for it. And you say that's low, Marsh?
Yeah, it's got to be top 3.
don't
I know it got a lot of misses on there, but the hits hit hard.
The hits
on
do
that.
hit
And
hard.
all No Limit albums have a lot of misses on them.
Not my number 1 and 2.
Not all.
Okay.
Well, not my top 3 actually.
83.3%. 5 out of 6.
We'll see. So number 4, I had the double disc, the TRU album. Number 3, and my top 3, I went back and forth with these shits all day.
But it was the same 3.
It was the same
order.
3.
Alright.
Number 3 is There's One in Every Family, Fiend.
Capital F.I. That's my
Dog.
guy.
If Fiend was on another label, like the dude, he's never brought up in the topic of hooks. His hooks are bananas. And when you actually just sit and listen to him, that album, my nigga, I'm pretty sure that's number 1 on a lot of people's list.
And
There's One in Every. His first 8 tracks was just bangers.
Okay. I got no quarrel with that. And he's easily one of the best rappers to ever be signed to No Limit.
I think he's the best. I'm not gonna say he's the best artist. Like, he's not the best rapper just off
I got you.
bars. But all of his talents combined, he's the
Okay.
best artist that was on No Limit to me.
I don't hate that take. I may not agree with it, but I had to think about it.
I mean, Mia X the best rapper on the tank, bro.
McKinley Phipps is the best rapper on the tank.
No, that's Mia X.
I said what I said, and I said what I said. Right.
Who you pointing at, Marsh? I saw you point at somebody.
No, I was just trying to think of who I think was the best rapper on No Limit.
It wasn't Mia X, was it?
Shit.
It's got to be between Mia X and Fiend.
See?
Really?
That's what I think too. I think Mac. I think he a little overrated, dog.
I feel the same with White Mia though. I think she get the woman pass.
No, no,
I don't
dog.
listen to her too many of her raps, and
She ride beats like
I disagree.
she.
She like to throw her rhymes on the 2 count and then the 3 count. I'm like, hold on, baby, I'm losing track.
See, the guy in the
Hold on.
chair said mystical, but see, I don't count mystical as being a no limit rapper.
I
even
get
though he
that.
did
Yeah,
collab.
and if we being honest, Mystical No Limit albums was garbage.
No sir.
Them bitches was booty.
Unpredictable was hard.
No,
sir.
yeah,
Unpredictable.
Unpredictable was good.
Look, I listened to both of them, dog.
I listened to Unpredictable today.
I flung. If
Ghetto
I had a
Fabulous was
CD,
horrible.
if I had a CD of
You'd have
Unpredictable,
tossed
I'd have
it.
threw that bitch out the window.
Threw that shit on Go Back Drive.
Like, no way, this, because I heard Mystical before he got on the tank, and
Yeah,
that
most of us
album,
did. Yeah.
the Mind
Yeah.
of Mystical, that shitted on everything he did until he went to Tarantula, and that was after
To
the tank.
the
For real.
For real days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro.
Unpredictable
Like,
live
Mystical
there
is
to
a great MC, but his albums didn't do shit. For me, that's just me.
Did Mind the Mystical do anything for you?
Mind of Mystical, but that ain't
Or
on
was
the
just
tank,
not No
though.
Limit though? You just saying just okay.
Just
you
his
talking about
No Limit
shit.
albums.
I enjoyed the first one thoroughly. I
Yeah.
enjoyed Untouchable. I mean,
Unpredictable.
Unpredictable thoroughly. Yeah.
It was very predictable. Another horrible song when you push the button.
I see you got your disrespect knob turned up.
Hey man, yours always at the.
I know. I can't say too much. I know.
All right.
Go ahead.
So these last two, uh,
It's unpredictable.
and I'm pretty sure if you were to search my Facebook page, this number 2 would actually be my number 1, but I went back and listened to them. So number 2 is the Bout It soundtrack.
I figured that was coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That was predictable.
That bitch slapped, but it had a couple, like Mystical was a miss on that one for me.
That's fine.
But another Silk slapper on that hoe. It's some incredible records on there, but it's a few that had
Brother
some
Lynch
misses.
might be my favorite on there.
Situation on Dirty.
Situation on
That
Dirty.
was.
That's my favorite.
But the meal ticket beat, dog, that might be the best beat that's I've heard in that camp.
Wow. Okay.
And P was in his bag. Who had the best verse on cause I was gonna post this and ask, but I'm gonna ask y'all, who had the best verse on Meal Ticket? Cause I think P did.
You might be right. Hold on. I'm here.
Cause you
I
got
might have to pull it up.
Ball and G did a verse together.
Yeah.
You got
They underwhelmed.
Pimp was hard. I thought Bun didn't come as hard on that, but I thought P had the best verse.
This is the only verse I remember, so that may be saying
Yeah.
something.
See?
Exactly. 'Cause I'm sitting over here trying to think hard of what anybody else said.
Cocaine lady, white, 7 good. I'm leaning on the leather and I'm gripping on the wood.
Pimp
I'm
gon'
dealing
pimp.
on the grant, balling in the slant. Some pimp C, bitch, trill niggas, roll cat. Come on, dog.
He that guy though.
Yeah, pimp was pimping on that. So y'all heard my top 4. What y'all think number 1 is?
I don't know if it's not Ghetto D, I'm logging off.
It ain't gonna be ghetto D. I
Oh
can
my
tell you that
god.
shit.
Damn.
Probably
So we gonna
down
have to
south
come
hustlers.
up, we gonna have to come up with some different shit.
Look
Because
at
Marsh
Mark
in the
for the
lead.
dip. I'm trying to think what else. Hold on, man. It ain't charging to the game. That might have been my number 1.
It would have
Real
been my
shit?
top 3. It would have been my top 3.
Definitely top
Easily.
3.
Y'all finna have me go back. Like I listened to Charge It to the game.
Hey, your ears though. I can't hate on your what you.
The shock is like raw, like Marsh said, is raw. But my number 1 No Limit album is My Balls, My Word, Young Bleed.
See, I don't
That's
consider Young Bleed a No Limit artist either.
See, Marsh, I was gonna get
Yeah.
into that because
Okay.
the way the album sounds, it ain't as many tracks as No Limit do. I think them concentration camp cats went to P. Like, I think we got a classic album here.
Yeah,
Our network isn't big enough to push it where we need it to go.
it's gonna be a partnership.
Let's you hop on this bitch and you put it under the No Limit flag and put it
Yep.
out there. That's
Yeah,
that's
the
what
The
I
album
thought.
was actually already completed before
That's
he
what I'm
went
saying.
No Limit. Yeah, so it's not a No Limit product per se. But I thought about Young Bleed. He would have been in my top 5 if I consider him a No Limit artist because You know, I don't consider Snoop a No Limit artist or
Hell no.
For
Mystical.
sure.
Uh, so
Dog, that album had no skips for me. Cause you know, you listen and you going off nostalgia and shit, so I had to go
Right.
in and listen to the shit. So I'll hit it and I'm like,
You said something
okay,
right there.
this bitch slap. Then I hit it. Oh shit. Oh, I got a story about it. You know
Okay.
I went to Wiseman, right?
Yeah, I heard. Trash.
So look,
Traitor.
look. They had a basketball tournament where some guys who weren't on the well, we had some basketball team players, but we played their basketball team at Jackson Street Rec.
Okay.
They was putting up flyers and everything around the school. I get in the gym, that bitch was packed, dog. And guess what we came out to? I didn't know this. We came out to bring the noise.
Hey.
Won't, won't.
Pass
And
me
this
the
when it
toy,
just
nigga.
came out, dog.
Okay.
That shit was dumb.
Yeah,
We
it
got our ass destroyed because they had the basketball team and they went and got Dean. And
They went and got
handled it.
Dean?
Yeah, they went and got
Superman
Dean. Dog.
Dean?
Yeah, they went and got Dean. But your boy had 20 and 10, dog.
Yeah.
After the game.
Assist or steals? Because it could be
Assist.
either one with you.
Yeah, assist.
Okay.
During the game, Jordash like, Los, keep shooting that bitch, dog. You getting off. I'm like, nah, man, this ain't my team or whatever. When I graduated, their head coach, when I was about to walk across stage, he grabbed me like, why you didn't play basketball for me?
Ain't the first time you heard that.
I was like, I don't think I was eligible. He was like, you should have let me worry about that.
Exactly.
But yeah, those are my top 5 No Limit albums, man. I ain't gonna ask y'all to put a top 5 together on the spot. Yeah, I
that's
mean,
pretty easy for me. I don't know. Ghetto D, Charges to the Game, True, Bout It soundtrack, and probably Ice Cream Man.
And
See, that's one I didn't go listen to.
I did go listen to it, and it does not hold up. Because my nostalgia meter, I was like, Ice Cream Man finna be maybe my number one.
Yeah, I hadn't listened to it in what, 20 years,
Yeah,
30
it ain't the
years.
same. It's
nah.
Break 'em
Okay.
Off something and by 2 more tracks.
Okay.
You didn't like Ice Cream Man?
Ice Cream Man was hard.
Yeah, okay.
You know, that's because of Moby Dick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And the intro.
Moby was that guy. Hold on. Pop Goes by 9 was on there too, wasn't it?
That was on the
That was
True.
on True. That was on True.
That's
yeah.
another Silk record.
That was a Moby Dick record.
That's a Silk record, but
Yeah,
wait,
Silk go hard when he slow down. And when he take his time,
I'm not.
he go hard.
We ain't finna do that. What's your top 5 No Limit records, dog?
It's pretty much what he says, but Ice Cream Man wouldn't make it. I would probably put Mac on there. World War III.
That bitch. I listened to that riding home from when we played basketball this morning.
Okay.
got
That
about 3
thing got
songs
like
on there.
4-5 tracks on it that I
Yeah.
like.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of his flow though. I'm a fan of his flow. His
Yeah,
flow. His
them
cadence.
them beats didn't fit. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Like when he hit, he nailed them hoes like genocide.
Mhm.
I love that
That's one
record.
of my favorites. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even on the first one, Calling Me, all them joints. But like anything in between the good records, them hoes is garbage, dog.
He's just my favorite rapper over there. Just his cadence and his flow is my favorite.
He used to be my
favorite.
favorite rapper over there too, till I actually started listening to rap.
You start, you know what? I ain't gonna do that. Go ahead. You good?
We good?
Yep.
All right, Marsha.
Keep respectful.
My dog is really a jack of all trades. He's a teacher. He's a
Is
minister.
he a teacher or is he a professor? He probably do both.
I know,
knowing
right? I
him.
can't be just throwing out teacher.
I've done both.
Exactly.
See, yeah, I've
what I
done
tell you.
both. He went golfing this morning.
He did go golf.
You know what I'm saying? So he pretty much got his hands into everything. So that's why we brought him on. He's a subject expert.
Is
We
he
ain't
the-
had one of those yet.
Is he the founding father of the Los Elite? The
I
founding
think
member?
he is. I think the Los Elite was based off him. Like we
Yeah.
need to get a silhouette of his face and use it as a logo for the Los
Because I
Elite.
mean, that one cat, Big Moses, he went to Africa twice, but Buddy was with the ruins. he got a picture trying to push them hoes over, dog, just for effect, dog. Not too many go to Europe.
Anybody with a humidor.
This is just regular everyday stuff to him.
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
This big dog stuff to me. because I'm poor.
Yeah, that's Tuesday. We not finna do that because I've been to your house. I've seen it. Like you can sit in my house and Barry's house like 3 times. No shit.
Mm.
Lies.
Look at him. But
I'm sitting there trying to map it out. Like, oh
but
man.
Marge, dog, I brought you on here for a reason, dog. This part 2 of our marriage pod, bro. And we were just throwing out general shit on the first one, but this one we want to get down to the bottom and the crux of why. Um, I don't want to just jump out there like that. So I'll just start with the first question. Why is it, and the numbers can prove it, why is it black women are least likely to be married than in any other demographic?
Yeah. So one, I try not as a counselor, I try not to ask why questions because why questions just add more why questions. You know.
Wait,
And
you a
try to
counselor too?
Yeah,
yeah,
he is.
that's my day
Sweet
job.
Jesus.
Uh,
What's your night job?
I guess parent, Warzone Call of Duty player.
Right?
Yeah. Um, so why is complicated? Mainly because generally we like to look at things as cause and effect. It's this reason that led to this, but there's a lot of factors. So I always start with just me being a Christian man. It's the spiritual, and that is the value of marriage itself, the sacred value of marriage. And if you don't believe that, and no shade if you don't, well, then one is going to be more optional for you. And I'm not saying this pertains to black women in general, but I'm just talking about all people in general. Marriage, the value of marriage, is not what it was. People don't see a reason to get married, so that's the first thing. A lot of black women just don't want to get married. Um, what do you think about that?
I agree with that, especially in this day and age. Like, you know what I'm saying? Women voices are louder. They're not putting up what grandma used to put up with. You know what I'm saying? They making their own bag, and like a lot of our grandparents got married to survive,
Mm.
frankly. And these women don't need us to live anymore. You know what I'm saying? So why deal with someone who's not going to be faithful or take care of the marriage as you're supposed to? You know what I'm saying? When you could just be happy and chill on your own till you find something that's actually works for you, because you don't need a man to survive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I could see that, and I do think that marriage in I guess in past people looked at it as a survival thing, but I think it's still a survival thing, especially for the black community.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so let me ask you: uh, would you rather your children grow up in a two-parent household or a one-parent household?
I two,
It,
Two.
just
most definitely.
ideally, not saying that growing up in a one-parent household is like the kiss of death, but ideally you want two. Why?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's more stable. You got two incomes, presumably. Even if you have two incomes, parent, if you have a stay-at-home wife, or if you're real modern and you're a stay-at-home dad, you got one parent who's there with the kid, and so there's a stability factor. There's a financial factor. Um, so it's still valuable in the sense of survival in that way. And I think one of the things that black people overlook when it comes to marriage is that we can do better. Like you hear like what's wrong with the black community, what the black community needs to do this and do that. Well, one of the ways we can do that is to build through a marriage. You got two incomes, you can build a business, you can build a family, you can build a life together, and the future is probably going to be pretty unkind to people who are single. It just is. We're about to head into I guess not head into, we're already in a
Right.
recession.
Yeah,
Right.
straight up.
My portfolio is been
Man.
ravaged. You know,
He said this shit rabbit.
He ain't
you
he
know what
ain't
I'm saying?
exaggerating.
Wouldn't it be nice if you had another income, uh, just to help you fill up the tank? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Cash
You
at
know,
me $20,
You know
baby.
what I'm
I ain't
saying?
got it.
Please.
Yeah, so I still think that that survival instinct or that survival function is there. Um, Even if kind of modern people say, well, I can make my own money, I can get my own place, I can do that. I don't need a man to do this and that. Well, you might not, but wouldn't life be? I don't want to say easier because I guess 'cause marriage can make life harder in some ways, but uh, wouldn't it be nice to have a partner to share that with, to grow with, to build with? Um, so I think that's one thing is we just don't value marriage, and that's
Yeah,
across the board. That's not just black women. Black men don't value it as much either. Although we do get married at higher rates than black women do. Um, but marriage for
yeah.
all marriage for white people is on the decline as well.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that goes back just to, like I said, the sacred nature of it. If you don't believe
Exactly.
it's if you think that it's important because God ordained it, then you're more likely to look into it as if you just think, oh, well, it's just a piece of paper.
Well, you just took all the
Well,
words out of my mouth. Yeah.
and so the way you come into it a lot of times determines, I guess, how you feel about it, as far as its value. So that's one thing, it's just the value of it.
I think that's the
uh
main thing.
it
What it
is
means
it's
to you.
so there's that value component. There's also, I guess, a personal component, or I guess a family component. um like I said, these are factors, these aren't causes. But if you grew up like my mom didn't want to get married because all the married women she grew up seeing were miserable. you know she did get married, I'm glad because I'm here, but uh everybody she saw was miserable, so it's like, why would I want to do that? you know so I think that plays a role in it too, just what you grew up around, um what you saw, that can kind of play a role into the, do I think this is necessary? I don't want to be like that. I don't want to, I don't know y'all backgrounds like that, but I see a lot of that.
That was one of the biggest factors for me to what took so long for me to get married, because every marriage, I won't say every, 90% of the marriages that I saw failed.
Mm,
So I fought it and fought it and fought it until I just met this woman that was perfect for me. And I mean, it just made too much sense to get married. You know what I'm saying? And we talk a lot, Marsh. You know, I'm not just super religious,
yeah,
but like I would have been a fool to walk away from what my my wife added to my lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? And it's
yeah,
just not even on how I felt about her, how attracted I was to her. I'm just talking about like you said, two incomes are better than one. I live in a state where the housing rates, the rent rates, like I pay 1,500 for my mortgage. The
hmm,
guy a couple houses down is paying 2,500 for rent. You
Yep.
know what I'm
hmm,
saying? So, it, like, I don't even think if you're not making close to 100K, like, it's hard to survive out here by yourself in
Not again.
yeah.
Texas.
You're gonna
You
be
know
in a
what I'm saying?
studio apartment,
Yes.
or something like that.
It's crazy, man, but
Yep. And back to what you were saying about what you grew up seeing. Like I grew up in a two-parent home. My parents still married, and that's what I saw every day. So in my mind, that's just what normal was. I won't
Hmm.
call it an afterthought or like a foregone conclusion, but I always assumed at some point I would be in a marriage. It just
Yeah,
it just that was my normal every day. My grandparents on both sides, it was the norm. So yeah,
yeah. And my parents were married, and they got divorced when I was like in high school, like 16 or something like that.
hmm
And I still remember just always just assuming I was going to get married. Matter of fact, before I got married, I started doing some like family research and started to really try to work on myself. And I was like, on both sides of my family, it's just everybody's divorced. You know, everybody. I think I got one. one uncle on my mom's side who's never been divorced, but everybody else has been divorced. Shoot, I got some. I got one uncle. He was divorced 5 times. Yeah,
Shit,
and
what's up, cuz?
but he didn't give up.
Lonnie Harvey.
Yeah, he didn't give up.
Hey,
And
keep
so, but
fighting.
even then, it didn't. That's why I said these things are factors, but not causes, because I still wanted to get married, even though literally everybody in my family was divorced except for like two people.
Mm.
Um, so it didn't really sour me on marriage. Um, but that's a big factor. Um, if a lot of black women, it's a lot of kids are raised up in single family households, right?
Yeah.
Well, if
Yes.
you're a black woman and you see your mama do everything, guess what you go do? You just do everything. And it's like, well, what is a man gonna offer me other than getting in the way? You know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that's the kiss of death growing up in a single parent household, or that just because you grew up that way you're gonna be that way. But it does kind of give you an outlook, or even just you develop some patterns of, once you're used to doing things your own way, the value of marriage, or the value of a man in general, uh, can be diminished. So that's another factor.
I get you, cause Lachey's parents ended up getting divorced, but they were married for a long time. You know what I'm saying? For her to realize what marriage is and all that good stuff. She was in her teens when they got divorced or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But when I met her, you know what I'm saying? She already had my two girls and she was doing everything on her own. So,
Mm,
like, even today, even today, like, my wife, it's some things that she'll be doing and I'll try to come help and she be like,
I got this.
she'll say I got it, or I can feel her getting irritated because she don't like the way I'm doing something. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying?
mm,
Because she's done it by herself so long that you ain't finna do nothing but come in here and fuck it up. But now, she
mm,
she she realized that she has that little tick about herself, and when she realized she's doing it, she try to snap out of it. But yes, that is a huge factor there, brother.
And all right, so now the same way that the statistics say that the black women are least likely to be married,
Mm-hmm.
there are statistics that always also say that black women are the, I don't know, fastest growing and most educated segment,
Mm-hmm.
like, of America. Like,
Yes.
they getting degrees left and right every day. So that
mm.
independence factor also,
Going
so,
through the roof.
and
Yeah,
it,
and that's
and
another factor. Yeah.
yeah,
Go ahead.
and you see all the, of course they say there's pee in the dating pool. You see all the horror stories out there for people living single life, and they're like, why would I go through all this heartache? I mean, dudes out here setting women on fire and breaking in their apartments and shooting their other. Hey, come on, man. Hey, it's like, why deal with all that?
Right.
Because it's crazy out there.
Super
So I
crazy.
hear.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not out there in the dating pool, because it's rough out there.
Yeah.
But you brought up another good point about the education, because I think that affects all women, in general, because once you get educated, who do you want to marry?
An educated
Someone else who's
person.
educated. Yes.
Yeah, and so black men are not educated at the same level right now as black women are,
We ain't
and not only
catching
that, college attendance for men across the board, you know,
Mm-hmm.
is going down for men. So if you're a black woman and you're going to college, uh, one, black people don't date in college to get married. So you're not gonna find your spouse in college, because
Well, damn.
look, now maybe that's changed. Maybe that's so. When I went to school, the white kids, it'd be like freshmen, like you just got on campus, and freshmen would just be they choosing, and you would see them together through the whole 4 years, and then they get married,
That's
on
wild.
campus after they graduate. A lot of the black, especially black women I went to college with, they just now getting married at like 43. That's not
Jeez.
not saying all of them, but like when we go to college, we're not thinking about relationship. We're thinking about fun. But when they were like I'm in the South, so I'm in Alabama, deep South. So it may be different in New York, or whatever. But the white kids, they was choosing and they were getting married like straight out of college. They was choosing, and we were just like, no, we just gonna party and have fun, and and so there is a different type of thing that education provides, but it also detracts from things. One, if you're gonna wait till after you get out of school and then you're gonna go to grad school, well, now you're looking at, well, I'm not gonna meet anybody till I'm what, 25, 26.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you date somebody while you're in college and you date them when you're getting your grad school on. Well, now you've been with that person for 6 or 7 years and you're still not married, and you may never get married, unless you Los. Los held out for damn near a decade or something. I don't know how. And so women are delaying marriage for career in college,
Yeah.
and a lot of the eligible men are married by then.
Mm.
Yeah.
I got married at 26, which was actually older than what I wanted to. I wanted to get married younger than that. I got married at 26. So you waiting until you in your 30s to get your established career. That's not, I'm like the greatest catch ever, but like a lot of the eligible bachelors, they got snatched up.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so you left with with either people who were just took a long time to find their way, or maybe the guy divorced and now he's ready to remarry, or just a bunch of weirdos on Tinder. you know.
Boy.
So
Hey,
you kind of shrunk your dating pool a little
I,
bit.
I know a dude that got banned off Tinder. Banned from Tinder.
How do you get banned from Tinder?
Because he kept calling women a word that starts with C and rhymes with punt. Like apparently they have a number. They got a ticker. Like you hit 26. You say this word 26 times, you're gone for good, pal.
Like, how do you get on Twitter and call women
Tinder. Yeah.
and call
Now
women that and try to?
He's a weird guy.
Okay.
He's a super weirdo. Just like Marshall
Now,
saying,
was he
it's a bunch
doing?
of
Did he
weirdos.
think that was an effective dating strategy?
That's what
He had a lot of self-confidence issues. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, so anytime he got turned down,
You
Yeah.
fucking could.
Yeah.
yeah,
He had big issues. But yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
speaking of college, though, you said a lot of things about college. I see that SU on your head. I'm assuming that's Samford.
yeah.
Yeah, because
Got a
my
couple
people
of
gonna get it twisted and think it's Southern.
Nah, I didn't go to Southern. Stanford University is in Alabama. Went there for 2 of my degrees, and
2 of his degrees.
Not my 2 degrees.
Two
of my
that
degrees.
insinuates that there's more.
I got 3. I got 3.
That's impressive. I'm impressed.
This
Dead
debt ain't
serious.
impressive. This debt ain't impressive at all. This debt,
I'm
this,
impressed.
this debt is oppressive.
Woo! Ain't it, man?
You know.
Hey, you want to buy a house?
I'm looking at you, Joe Biden. Do something useful.
There you go. Hey.
Boy, don't get
Anybody
into that.
seen
'Cause
Chucks? You know what? Let me.
ain't nobody seen the pearls and the
Ain't
chips.
Hey, Marsh, you want to buy a house real quick?
I just want to know why everything going up and why the same fucking Democrats who were clowning Trump not calling for Joe Head. But that's a conversation for another day.
Ain't it?
You know what I'm saying? We'll get into that later.
I don't
Maybe
know
you
if
can
folks-
join us for that conversation.
I'm
Marsh.
staying out of that conversation.
Yeah. First of all, you're black, so you need to back everything Democrat, okay?
No,
Yeah.
fuck
Look,
that.
my black card gets snatched enough without me getting
Have you
political
seen the
conversation.
gas prices, dog?
Hey,
Yeah.
man.
That's probably
He ain't
Trump's
seen-
fault.
Los Elite ain't affected by them. What they be saying? What I'm gonna do? Not get gas? Man, shut up. I'm hurting.
Yeah.
But he was talking about gas earlier. Talking
He
about you
trying
got
to-
a
No,
wife that.
He trying to blend in with the commoners.
Yeah, you right.
That's Lord Marsh.
Do you have
Nah.
2 like golfing gloves, or do you have a black swag and just use one?
No, you only use one anyway. Only time you wear 2 is if you're weird or you got rain gloves on or your winter
And-
glove.
See, I didn't know. You know?
Yeah, and you real inconsiderate, because I know you had your caddy out there, had to get him out of bed. Winthrop, beat me at 7.
Nah, I'm not.
Then
Hey,
again,
I'm not a member of a club or anything like that. So I don't. I've never had anybody caddy for me. So
I can
just
see.
Soon.
cart or whatever.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I
So
suck. I just like to be out there.
I hear that.
already. So Marsh, we touched on why they aren't being married, but I had another question. So when black women are getting married, they're the first. They're the demographic most likely to get divorced. So
Yeah,
why is that?
it's probably they say there's not one factor. It's probably all of these other factors we've already mentioned. As far
Mm-hmm.
as one, what's your family background? Um, that plays a role um, because that plays a role in how you relate to others.
Facts.
So just picking people who are incompatible with you
Mm-hmm.
because
You like they
of what
swag?
yeah, and look, that's another reason why people are single. It's because and it's just people in general, because modern dating standards are weird. They're just weird, you know. Old school dating standards were like, I like you, you like me, let's get married and have some kids. New school is like, well, I had a home girl who was dating this guy. I'm trying to be vague here, and it's nice guy, good dude, marriage material, 6-figure job, and she broke up with him because he was awkward at parties, and she liked to
What?
go out a lot, and he would just kind of stand there and drink his drink. He wasn't like the life of the party guy,
I wouldn't have
and I'm
stood a
just
chance
like,
with her.
yeah, and she's still single, and the crazy thing is though she's great, but she's so picky.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, he's a nice guy, you know,
Yeah.
he's educated, makes 6 figures, he wants to be married, he likes you. Like, like what's the roadblock here,
Hey,
And it's just like, at parties he's kind of awkward,
that
you
is
know.
that is
Like
strangely specific.
how do you? How many parties do she go to
All of them.
weekly? Like,
If
come
you
on.
see if it's a
Probably not
fly, she in there.
probably not as much anymore. We were younger then, so that was probably when it was like late 20s. But it's the same with black men. We've got weird. So one of the reasons why we don't get married as much as we used to is we got this weird cultural. I don't know how to describe it other than cultural bullshit. Like these myths that we tell each other, or these things that we think we have to have. Um, that's some. It's like physical traits. Now you should find somebody attractive, but this look, bruh, every woman you date not gonna be built like Jessica Rabbit or whoever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, you a six, go find you a six and get married.
Hey,
Like,
you can't do that, sir.
No, no,
You can't tell people to date in they number range,
yeah.
man.
I
You
mean,
telling
look,
folks to stay in their lane. Folks don't like to stay in their lane,
People
dog.
will wish death upon you
man,
for
look,
that.
I've
I've
always
seen it.
considered myself an eight when I dress up and you know, and that's usually who I date was eights. Now every now and then I might mess with a dime, and I just know I don't belong here.
But look,
I'm
look. The
uncomfortable.
Sister, you
rule,
can, sister, you can do better.
the
You know,
rule is you can go up 2 notches. You
Yeah, that's
can't
your
go
that's
up
your
further than two, though.
yeah, that's your ceiling.
So if you're an 8, you can bag a dime.
you can bag her, but can you keep her?
Nah,
Mm.
that's
That's the
another point.
thing. You know, it's because truth be told, she got options. You know what I'm
Yes, sir.
Indeed.
saying?
How's that
Which
so
is
hard to
another
understand
reason
for
why people
people?
don't get married is because they think that there's gonna be somebody better, and so they don't want to commit. It's like if I settle down with her, you ever you ever date a girl and then like meet her sisters later, and they're like, dog, I
I
got the
got the
wrong
ugly
one.
sister. Damn it. That's messed up.
It's like I did
I,
not know her sisters was holding like this.
I will
Well,
not comment on the looks of my sister-in-laws.
I'm not
Hey.
talking. Yeah, I'm just in general.
They
And so a
cute
lot
though.
of people have this fear of missing out or fear of making the wrong choice, and so they don't want to pull the trigger because they always are waiting for something better to come along. And it may come along, but realistically, You know, it's kind of hard to know that.
Yeah,
Yeah, and what
and
you think is better once
it's
you get to know it may be
right.
much
Yeah,
worse. Like, yo, here he checked all the boxes, but he also got a mean left hook, and he don't mind using it on me. You know what I'm saying? That ain't working.
yeah. And so our marriage standards in general have went way up. But I think the quality of people might have either stayed the same or went down depending on who you ask.
That's a fair assessment.
You know, um, and so people are, and like, and social media has made people narcissists as well. Like
Guilty.
everybody thinks that they can do better than what they're doing. Everybody
Bruh.
thinks they can have a better job. Everybody thinks they can have a better spouse. Everybody thinks they can do better on the marriage front. Because in your pictures, you looking at your social media pictures, and you know how the women they got that sideways stand, so you can't see.
Yes.
You know how that picture sorcery they do,
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and so they
angles
thinking
is
like
what
I'm
they
a
They got
call
the
it.
catch.
angles, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, the angles, and like everybody's putting this front for it, and so we tend to think that people look better and are better than they really are.
Yeah,
When
the
Mm.
in
highlight
reality,
reel.
yeah, it's your highlight reel. You know, so people are let down when they actually meet people in person. They're like, oh,
Mm,
you ain't so
mm,
you
mm.
ain't so
Man,
cool
me,
without that Instagram filter on.
man, me and Los talk about that all the time.
Boy, 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 boy.
Los don't listen though.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
dog.
I'm
So
done with that.
it's a lot of complex factors and that are making relationships complicated. Um, but the biggest thing is, and this is something I work with in my practice on it. Everybody I talk to, I work with on is self awareness.
Mm.
Hmm.
Most people, it's kind of a human nature thing where we always think it's something else or somebody else's fault or something wrong with other people, and nobody wants to look at themselves and what they can do and how they can improve, how they can attract what they want or whatever. And so, and that's present company included. And so
For sure.
that human thing to always look to others instead of
Yeah.
looking at yourself. And
Man.
so that makes it hard to get. It's not something wrong with me. And you see this a lot in conversation between black women and black men. So black men blame black women and
Yes.
and say, I don't know, whatever the stereotypical things we say about black women. Um, and black women, they blame black men. When the truth is
The crazy part, they may both be right.
they both right, you know. Um, but if you don't have any self awareness to realize, oh, I can improve, or this
Mm-hmm.
is an issue, you know,
Yeah.
um, then nothing's gonna be accomplished. And so that's something like I said everybody should do.
Yeah. I
Um,
always say accountability is a dirty word these days.
Mm.
Like, don't nobody
yeah,
wants to take account of what they need to improve on because
and,
it's
and I
hard.
will and I
It's
will say
medicine.
this: there are probably shouldn't say this, but
Say it.
Say it,
It need
dog.
to be said
Say
if you
it.
should
I'll
if you
I'll
You
say
shouldn't
got
say
to.
it.
there are segments of the population who get a lot of positive affirmation, and
Not
Ah.
affirmations, dog.
black women are one of them. And here's the thing: I'm married to a black woman. I got a black daughter. I think black women are awesome. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Facts.
But if every time you turn on the TV and read something, you seeing black girls rock, black girl magic, black girl this, black girl that, you gonna start feeling like you're pretty good.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
when little old me comes to ask you out,
Do
you know,
you know who I am? I'm a black woman. You think you stand a chance?
yeah, I do think that that's a factor of, like I said, self awareness. You know,
Yep.
black women do rock. you know, but that guy who you want to marry you, he may not think you so great as the marketing campaign says you are. He
See?
may just think you're all right.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so there's some
Reality will
there's
push
some
you off that pedestal in a hurry.
and I do think that men across the board, you get told a lot more about yourself as a man just growing up than a woman does.
Yeah.
Mm.
Um, because we try to protect women and nobody
Mm-hmm.
cares about men.
Nah, you
So
gonna
you
catch that
men, you get
truth,
you know, you're
You
short, you're
ugly.
musty,
boy.
you're dusty.
And I had a girl look me in my eyes at a party. Cause you know how you do the move where they dance and they get close. You like, oh shit, she
Uh,
moving my way. She turned around like, nigga, you ugly. I'm like, oh,
Damn.
ouch. Like I knew
uh,
it, but I ain't need to hear it. You know, not in this setting.
But what I'm saying, dog, like cause women get hollered at all the fucking time, dog. So it's kind of difficult for them not to feel like they the shit. You know what I'm saying?
well, first of all, women look. I don't. There's nothing that God created that's better than a woman. So just on that, they should be on a pedestal at some point.
For sure.
But the self awareness comes in. It's like, well, you know, am I what I think I am? Am I putting off the vibes I think I'm putting off? You ever know like the dude who thinks he's funny but he's really not funny, or the dude who thinks
Woo.
he's cool but he really like super lame?
Trying so
I'm
hard.
not gonna say nothing because niggas may feel that way about me.
No comment.
Well, I know I'm lame, so I just roll with it. But
Boy, I nearly.
I'm lame, lame,
But
LeBron
yeah,
lames.
yeah, I've come across a few of those cats actually.
yeah,
And
they
back
don't.
to that same point, like
What'd you say? Present company, not.
if you say something that's not uplifting, and the person you talking about happens to be a woman, and she happens to be of color, now you hate all black women.
Yeah,
You was keeping them down. You got your foot on their neck
but that's because they go from 0 to 100, nigga, real quick.
real quick. Like
Little stereotyping right there.
if you say, hey man, she need to work on her start out the blocks, then she'll win all them races. She got a strong finish. Nigga, nigga, who are you?
Yeah.
You hate, see, that's what's problem with you niggas.
Oh,
Y'all
you
hate
think
women.
I'm slow? Yeah, yeah. You
The
immediately
stopwatch
hate
think you
all
slow.
women.
I'm just agreeing
Right.
with the stopwatch. Physics
That's
think you
it.
slow.
But that's the difference though, is we at least attempt to base our takes on logic.
Mm.
So and not all of us are good at it. I fail at it sometimes. Sometimes I'm emotionally driven as well. But if your foundation is emotion, emotion is unstable and it changes depending on your hormone levels, the heat outside.
It's hot as hell.
It ain't
Hmm.
that hot out.
It's hot.
It ain't but like 108, cuz.
Yeah, you say that, and that is true. Emotions can be unstable, but what I see in my practice with men is the lack of emotion
Or lack of knowing
catches
how to deal with their emotions.
it catches up to you too. You
Yeah.
know, and the strong silent type. Like I said, I work with them every
Yeah.
week, and like I said, most of my clients are black men, and and they're coming. A lot of it is to deal with emotion stuff they haven't dealt with before, and that's another factor that we didn't talk about, but it's like I kind of mentioned it. It's like baggage. You know, black people have a lot of baggage, societal baggage, family baggage, and
Oh.
personal baggage, and we don't really deal with it all the time until it becomes a problem in some area of life. And so a lot of times and I got therapist friends of all colors, and they'll tell you like black couples are more challenging to work with than couples from other ethnicities and races, because there's a lot that goes into a black couple. There's a lot of unaddressed trauma, and
Yeah.
Man,
That's the word I was
and like I
waiting
said,
on.
cultural baggage,
I know
cultural
I need therapy.
attitudes about marriage, because black marriages operate different than a lot of other marriages do. Like we got weird rules that nobody has but us, and weird expectations, and um, so it's there's a lot that goes into that stew. It's a little complicated, which is why we have a higher, a high divorce rate, or just people just don't even get married because they don't want to deal with it. Um,
I agree with that.
That's real,
That
cause
plus just the foundation. Like, say you're married, what is their relationship founded on? Is it love, friendship? Is it a spiritual bond? Y'all have any kind of connection? Because some things are a lot easier to walk away from. If you don't have any of those things, if you're not my friend, we don't communicate well.
if I don't
We
love you,
have no love you. We don't have no intimacy. We don't have and again, what Marshall said, it all starts with self being ready to be available, be vulnerable. Cause that's who done seen all my tears.
yeah,
That lady in that other room right there.
I can dig it.
My mama told me this was about 6, 7, 6. She said, I ain't seen you cry since you was a little bitty boy. I was like, yeah, I was grew up with that stigma. We don't do all that. I was a crybaby as a little boy, and I had to toughen up.
You
Cause
had to
niggas
get
see
rid of
you,
that shit.
niggas see you on that soft stuff. They on your head.
yeah.
Now,
That's how we roll.
Marsh, you did hit another point about the trauma.
Hmm.
Like, I'm a project baby. You know what I'm saying?
Where you from?
Foster home. People think I'm from an actual foster home, though.
Hey, as a
I
little
did.
kid, I'm not gonna lie.
I
That's
did
what
for
I
like
thought the
four
foster home
years.
was when I was like 6 years old. I'm
I was
like, they
like,
got
y'all
a
was
whole
adopted.
neighborhood full of foster children. Oh, little. I'm like,
Yeah, I thought he was adopted. Then he would talk about his parents. I'm like, oh, he got reunited. That's a beautiful story.
That's what I'm
they
saying.
got him
Dog.
out the system.
But
Yeah.
dog, I was born in the projects. Lived till I was 18 in the projects. It's just a lot of trauma that comes with that upbringing. And it's a
Hmm.
lot of women that I grew up with. You know what I'm saying? So I can get how a motherfucker don't want to commit fully to a man when all they've seen is a man walking out of their life, being abusive, not being shit, using drugs. Cause that's all, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say that's all I saw growing up, but I saw a lot of it. So I can
Hmm.
understand how that would affect someone when they're adults. And we don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I fall into this category as well. I'm one of the black people that don't believe in therapy.
Hmm.
I think I'm starting to believe that's a real issue.
I think you believe in it.
I've never went there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, I went there as a kid, but I didn't go there because I wanted to. They made me go. But
Yeah.
that's, you know what I'm saying? So I get
Hmm.
how upbringing affects everything. So that goes back to the whole topic, how building the black marriage will build the black race, culture, all that good stuff. But anyway.
Yeah, and the thing is, upbringing. What I do with every client is I do a family history. I
Mm.
want to know who was married, who wasn't married. I want to know occupations. I want to know deaths. And I do a family diagram. If I had mine in here, I would show it on screen. But I would do family diagrams because I want to know more about that person. And you can't know about a person until you know how their family grew up. And
Mm-hmm.
so what you realize in that stuff is there. So when I do a diagram, I'm looking for three things in their family, and then we try to figure out, okay, how are those things showing up now? So we call it unfinished family business. How is unfinished family business showing up in your relationship now? And we look for family, we look for, you know, premature deaths, heart attacks, stuff like that, assaults, prison sentences, any kind of trauma, uh, look for patterns. What does your family consistently do? Bad or good. You know, my family is, my mom's side is a bunch of womanizers uh, and divorces. That's consistently on my mom's side.
Mm.
Um, and scripts. So, what does your family repeatedly say? What are the things that your family say over and over again? If you grow up hearing,
You ain't shit.
uh, you know, I think when I used to hear all the time, oh, you trust a woman, but don't put nothing past her. You know, that's one of the
Damn.
old.
Hey man, that's
You
solid
ever heard?
advice.
That ain't solid advice,
Ah,
dog.
shit.
Don't put nothing past her. That
Don't
mean
put
don't
nothing
trust them.
past.
That mean don't trust them, dog.
That mean you trust
Yeah,
her, but
No, it
but if
don't.
yeah, you trust her.
you trust her, but not really. But
That's
if you
what I'm
grow up
saying.
hearing
You
that,
trust her, but she human.
but
Anybody's capable of anything.
if you grew up hearing that, how hard will it be for you to commit to your wife, for you to trust your wife? If you grew up hearing,
Rather.
trust a woman, don't put nothing past her, you know. Or if you hear, hey, don't you count on no, you can't count on no man, hey, save your little money on the side when he ain't looking, cause just in case you got a
Boy,
dip. Well,
mad money.
yeah, you already are hearing things that are gonna affect how you look at the opposite sex, how you look at relationships.
Seeds have been
If,
sown.
and so looking at those things, looking at how there's only a couple of ways that people really deal with, I guess, relational anxiety, relational upset, and they're pretty predictable once you figure out what yours are. Um, I guess I won't go into all of them, but one of them is distance. So, what do you do when you're upset or you're with your spouse? Well, distance is one of them. So, do you go outside? Do you leave the house? Do you um,
Hmm.
go to another room? Do you shut down emotionally instead of dealing with the issue right then and there? And that's on my dad's side. They're distancers. My granddad, I used to think my granddad was just a hard-working man because he always had 2 or 3 jobs. And then when I grew up, I realized he just didn't want to be at home.
Damn. I got to go. They tripping.
Hey,
Yeah,
man.
you know. And my dad was the same way. He just happened to be a truck driver, you
Huh.
know. And then when he wasn't doing that, he was doing other jobs that were like take him somewhere else. He was a distancer, and so I'm that way. So that was one of those patterns I realized, and I had to kind of um, to work on. It's like, hey, when there's friction, when there's tension, just stay there and handle it instead of kind of calming down by leaving. Um, Another one is conflict, which sounds kind of counterintuitive. That conflict would be a way that people calm down, but conflict is about blaming, about not taking responsibility, and so some people they calm down by saying you're the problem.
You shift this energy to you, you
Yeah,
piece of
dog.
crap.
Exactly. And so, like I said, there's 4 or 5 of these kind of predictable patterns,
Hmm.
and a lot of those patterns come from my family and how they dealt with relationships, and then
Wow.
what we kind of, you know, um, you may be trying to think of what yours are right now, but
Oh, we did.
I
I
got a
already know.
million of them hoes.
here's
The
here's another
distancer
one.
was definitely us, but we had a rule though. So,
Yeah.
and me and her, we've been together like official couple, I guess, since like '98.
Ah.
Yeah. So when we first moved in together, it was probably '01, and we get mad at each other, and basically we had a rule like if we upset with each other, we're not gonna get in each other's face and talk about nothing while we're mad. We're gonna go cool off. Same house, another room,
Mm-hmm.
maybe an hour, maybe 30 minutes. But we're gonna come back to the table and talk about what I did, how it made you feel, blah blah, and back and forth. So we could still attack the issue, but not while we pissed.
Yeah.
We just didn't feel that either of us would be able to receive the information if we hot. Cause we just waiting on you to say something so we can respond if you hot. Like nah,
Yeah.
what you mean my forehead, big? Yours
Yeah.
too. We're gonna start
Yeah.
throwing on each other, and I'm gonna win that, but I'm gonna lose the war.
And that's a good point. And the part of our brain that's responsible for thinking and is different from the part of our brain that deals with emotion. And so when we get emotional, our thinking brain just sits back and like, I'm gonna watch to
Yeah,
see
let
what's
me see
gonna
what
happen.
these clowns do.
Yeah. And so you do have to calm down, be able to calm yourself down, um, to be able to resolve issues. But with the relationships, we don't want to do that. We want the other person to change
Hmm.
to calm us down.
Wow.
Um, there's a great there's a therapist named Kathleen Smith, and she has this great article that I refer to my clients all the time. It's called "Please Behave Better So I Can Calm Down," and that's what most relationships are like. Like if you would just stop doing this, then I wouldn't be upset. Or if you just stop doing this, our relationship will be better. And it's like, well, you can actually not be upset, regardless of how the other person
Right.
responds.
You do have that choice, that
Yeah, but
option.
we don't think that. We think the choice is in the other person, and we kind of give that power over them and realize, no, I'm an adult. I can actually choose not to be upset or to be upset and display it in a different way. I don't have to wait for them to change for me to, exhibit mature behaviors. Um, and so I said, but a lot of those things are, like I said, family of origin stuff, like how were arguments resolved in your home, you know. Um, in my home, they were resolved by my dad getting up and leaving, you know, and so they didn't argue much because he wasn't gonna be around for it,
Hey,
you know. Some other families might be more conflictual, where they start blaming it's your fault, um, and another one is triangling, and that's basically where we reach out to a third party instead of dealing with our partner one on one.
Oh my God, that
mm,
can be good.
You're having a fight with your wife, and then she calls her mama. Let me tell you what Los did. You go to the barber shop, man. My old lady tripping again. Um, and what happens is you never resolve the issue one on one, but you just go offload it to a third party, which actually helps. I mean, counseling is a triangle. It's that same kind of thing.
I'm gonna
The
use that
difference is the counselor
triangling.
is
got to.
supposed to be objective, but if you go talk to your mama, guess what? She's not objective.
No.
No, she on your team.
She on your team, and that's not gonna help matters. Um, because what helps matters is you taking responsibility for your part in the relationship pattern, and let the other person take responsibility for their part in it. But affairs are another kind of extreme triangle. Uh, instead of dealing with my woman or
Love
my
triangle.
man, love triangle. Yeah, I'm gonna relieve. And so you'll see this with a lot of couples. It's like, man, my spouse has just been really awesome the last 6 months. That's because they're having an affair. You know,
Sheesh.
Hold on, you finna get me to questioning people
You know what I'm
around in
saying?
here.
Why you so chipper?
The fuck is you skipping for?
You know what I'm saying? Are you floating?
well,
Mary Poppins?
because they've offloaded a lot of the anxiety in the present relationship. They've offloaded it to somebody else, and so now they're
Yeah.
actually less anxious when they're with you, which makes it easier to be in a relationship,
My
and
wife
so
better
they're
not
not
start
responding
prancing
to
around the house. I know she got a bad knee. You better keep limping.
Do we need to give
yeah.
them side pieces? I mean,
I don't,
kind of
I don't,
sound like
I don't know
you.
if I want to be a part of that experiment.
I mean,
Knowingly.
but yeah. Just
Yeah.
act like you don't know.
There you go.
No, because the thing is, it generally what happens is it doesn't work long term because it eventually just triangles multiply. So
Ah.
you offloading your anxiety for this other person, your spouse probably starts doing the same thing, and the person you're with, they start doing it, and so you got all these interlocking triangles, and it just makes it more complex and more of a mess. That's why
Yeah.
relationships that start like that generally don't last. But yeah,
Hey,
so
and ain't nothing worse than you having unresolved issues and you find out an outside party and know all your details. Like, is
yeah,
this Jody, the little boy who can't get up off his feet? You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
Snoop,
Oh
like Snoop
boy,
Dogg called the Jody from the jail.
that's horrible.
He knew
yeah,
all that
because
boy business. He hurt
because they're
now.
talking about you to relieve their anxiety, and they're
Yeah.
like, yeah, well, you know, Barry use all the straws when he drinks the cokes, and then when I need a straw,
I mean, I do two at a
yeah,
time.
Two,
Two
two
yeah,
scraws.
two
straws.
Two
straws,
scraws. It's a K in there.
yeah. And so this other dude, he know about your straw business,
How this nigga know how many straws I use? That's cold.
yeah. And you feel some kind of way,
Doggone right. Especially if you ain't talk to me about it.
That was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Jesus.
Exactly. They didn't talk to you
Well
about
played.
it, and that's the pattern that couples
Yeah.
get in, where they either don't talk, or they talk past each other, or they talk during a time when they can't really hear each other. And
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm.
once you calm down and start actually discussing the actual issues, and usually what couples say the issues aren't the issues, it's the emotion underlying it. So everybody says communication. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a couple who didn't say, yeah, we need to communicate better. I say, well, what does that look like? And it's like I want the other person to talk to me differently.
Yeah.
But
They need to
but the
apologize.
but the real issue is the emotion that's driving it. It's not what they said or the tone. Although that's a factor. I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but it is, well, why is your communication so contentious? It's because he hadn't had sex in 6 months, and so he's
Good
mad at you.
God, what?
He just ain't told you that. I'm
Back
making
up.
that up, but a lot of times you just
Why wouldn't
if
she know that?
there's a husband who's angry, and I ask, like, and the wife is always shocked, like, you been mad about that, like, yeah,
Yeah.
but he hadn't
Fuck
said
her.
anything, because he thinking she gonna get the hint.
Yeah, you should know.
Yeah,
Maybe she should, but still,
he
you
should
should
know.
communicate.
I mean,
Yeah,
she knew they ain't had sex in 6 months, though.
But she ain't know that was what was
yeah,
pissing him off.
but
Let her
What?
tell it.
but in general, men and women are, even though it's 2022, men and women are still different.
Very
And
much so.
on average, their sex drive is just not what a man's sex drive is. And so on
Lies.
average,
Everything is equal. Equality. 2022.
and so women really don't know. They just they think they've been doing good. And it's like,
But
but
you
his
ain't
ex,
had, we ain't smashed in 6 months and everything's good.
If it was important enough, why you ain't said nothing?
yeah.
I'm going to talk.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I believe that.
Now, I have realized that our thing, personally, is we tend to go to our corners when we're really upset
Hmm.
to calm down, and then we'll talk, you know what I'm saying, later.
Yeah, as long as you're talking later, it's fine. It's just when people, because I'll ask, hey, did that ever get resolved, or you just fight and then go away and then never bring it up again? Because then you're not fixing anything, you're not addressing it, and so you're just basically kind of sweeping it under the rug.
Mm.
Um, but the highest level of maturity is, can you both be upset and stay calm while you're in each other's presence, not have to go to your corners. That's a skill though,
Yeah,
because
shit.
you got to calm down. And usually, if one person can stay calm, the other person will naturally bring it down. So if you stayed calm and she was all upset and you just stayed there and it's like, you know, and
I
you
don't
were
know. We
calm,
don't really get a chance to test that out because, like, over the years, my wife has slowly realized like how amazing I am.
yeah.
So so
So what you're saying is she got
why
dementia.
be upset when your eyes are on this prize already? Don't stand up and come over here, woman. I see you. Is that a cast iron skillet in your hand?
You ain't gonna be coming at Solana like
Hey,
that,
you start hearing some grits cooking over there. You know what's up.
Bro.
dog. The bubbles popping.
Hey, y'all got grits?
Yeah, we
Oh,
keep
they
grits.
got grits
I'm
too.
a grit eater.
I messed up.
Yeah. So all that to say, the relationships are complicated. Black relationships are extra complicated because we just have an interesting
Wow, I never thought
social
about all the
history
layers.
and history with each other, and shoot, we can even get married legally for a long time, and so
Damn,
um,
Damn.
it's a lot of layers.
it is a
Never
lot of
thought about
layers.
all that. Hey,
It is a lot of layers, but to address it, we have to be, one is honest and able to hear, you know, all criticism isn't honest criticism, but we should be able to hear honest criticism. I don't know if y'all remember, like, in the '90s when it was like all the black men are in jail are gay. Y'all remember that
uh huh.
That was the 90s?
was
Yeah,
that
when it
the
started.
That's
I,
shit. That's just like yesterday, ain't it?
I don't know. It was big in the '90s, and that was the reason why black women were single.
Oh, okay.
Now black women didn't come up with that. That was probably white liberals because they always coming up with stuff.
Here we go.
But no, we're not going anywhere. I'm gonna say that and just keep moving. Uh,
Good man.
but we have all these, like I said, all this complicated history that we don't ever address because we're too busy protecting ourselves. Um, which is probably the main reason why people don't get married. Is because black people are really trying to protect ourselves, and nobody
Mm,
wants to get hurt. Nobody wants to get divorced, or nobody wants to get shamed or
Yeah.
cheated on or played.
Nobody
And so
wants to be a
I
fool.
think that drives a lot of the singleness. Um, is just self protection, you know, which I've never looked at like that till then. So
wow, that's crazy.
Nobody want that boo boo the fool tag on them.
yeah, but
Cause you know,
love is risk.
and yeah, and especially today's society, your failures are blown up
Yeah.
and put out for the world to see.
Look what this old hoe ass did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
buddy.
social media definitely complicates it because
Yeah,
people like to be heard, and we like to rally
and
people.
people like to watch that train wreck too.
Yeah,
Bruh,
They tuning in for that.
the likes is off
you'll get
through the
sent a
roof.
link in a second, like oh this
Boy.
couple fighting on Facebook, you know.
And then you see the people be making statuses. Girl, send me that video. Send me that link.
Hmm.
I ain't see it. I want to see it.
Cause I'm damn sure reading every comment when I see a couple going through. And that's
Yeah,
just me. It's
and that's
fun.
that's emotional immaturity
It is.
is taking your business and putting it out for everybody to see. But that's also, like I said, protection. You don't want to be the bad guy. You know, you want to blame your wife or blame your husband or your boyfriend, girlfriend,
Yeah.
and
Whoever get the story out first gonna get the most believers
And likes.
and likes.
and likes.
Likes are, likes are important, man.
When the truth is, both people are always contributing to a relationship pattern by what they do and what they don't do, whether they know it or not. And the trick is, okay, can I be aware of what I'm doing or not doing in my relationship that's contributing to our negative interactions? And
Damn.
once you can do that, then you can kind of start to work on it. You
Say,
know.
man, I ain't
Already.
planning on taking all these long, hard looks at myself, brother.
Well, you've
Snatching
been
the
married
covers
long
off
enough to
me.
where you probably don't have to do that. You
Yeah,
probably,
y'all got y'all rhythm, dog.
Yeah, we got about a
yeah,
quarter century in this thing.
yeah.
We in the
So
we in the pocket.
Look,
I
Marsh,
talk,
man.
I, I'll
Go
talk to
ahead.
Loaf off the air, and I'll tell him what he need. I'll tell him what he needs to do
Get
to
taller, grow.
that ain't
I got
happening.
my Yeezys got a lot of
Them hoes
cushion on these
crazy,
hoes.
dog. I always lose out when they drop though.
They gave me two. I'm talking about my height. I'm at least 5'7" in these
That I need two pair. Run me them.
Yeezys. Look, Marsh, man, I appreciate you, dog. Like you gave us a lot of insightful information, bro.
That's what he
Real
does.
talk.
And some of it's true.
Saying,
Look, dog, you got anything else you want to get off, promote, anything like that, bro?
No, not really. I don't have anything I can promote. But I will say that black marriage is a passion of mine. Um, hashtag Black Lives Matter.
hey,
And
Hey!
put
and
it
uh,
on a shirt.
and I've been trying to blow that up because I
Oh,
do
it's
think
going
that
up now.
if
Uh,
I do think that that will, we all trying to figure out like how to help the culture. You know, stable families, you know, are helpful because they raise, you got stable kids. You can take your kids out of these failing government schools if you're in a bad school zone. Like
damn.
our daughter goes to private school because the schools around
Well,
here
duh.
are garbage.
Well, you Los Elites.
And I
Los.
need my baby to know how to read. So
First of all, I went to
um,
one of the worst schools in America, baby, and I could read just fine.
yeah,
Off the fault.
No, my wife went to ball default though.
yeah. But marriage is a gift from God, man. It's not something to be afraid of. It's something to really to to explore, and it's supposed to be hard because that's what there's nothing that you can ever do that will grow you as much as marriage. For better, even if you have a divorce, you learn more about yourself in those years and that time than you would have without it. And so marriage is a marriage therapist David Schnark says marriage is a people growing machine. And so if you're really serious about personal growth, settle down.
Get
Um,
married.
Nothing grows you like marriage. So
Alrighty, man. But look, I appreciate you for coming on, dog. I need you to do one thing for me. We ask all the guests. Give me that EWAF sign before you get off
I don't
here.
I don't have that kind of dexterity. I'm kind of like,
Hey,
Hey,
it's
we
up
out
though.
here though,
It's
dog.
up though, and it's on your head for Stonehenge, bitch
Shout
ass.
out to the first member of the Los Elite for coming on the show, man.
Founding one.
Give it
Hey,
up, bro.
they gotta start a
Yeah.
fraternity, dog. And what year Los Elite started? That'll be their thing. 19 or 2000, whatever.
Established.
Established,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
dog. Yeah. Alrighty,
Yeah.
man. I appreciate you, Mars, bro. You did your thing, dog.
Thanks for having me on, man. I'll come back anytime y'all want to talk about some counseling stuff or cultural stuff
You got any
that I may have
poetry
an opinion
freestyles
on.
you want to get off?
No, because I didn't come prepared.
Inside joke. Let me leave that alone.
I don't want to end up like, oh boy,
Marshall Pope.
Now I can freestyle, but I don't have any poetry in my head right now.
Okay.
Years ago, they tried to.
Yeah.
All right, man. I'm gonna holler at you, dog. Appreciate
All right,
you.
y'all
Appreciate you
be
pulling
easy.
up, bro.
Already.
All right.
Oh man,
Man, that boy, he one of them. One
Yeah.
of them ones.
he's a podcaster though, so
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. Like
And he been on stage and everything.
He
ain't-
felt natural as
Yeah.
fuck. Like he was snug as a bug.
But his whole profession is
That.
face to face talking to people too. You know what I'm saying? And talking to people about their deepest, darkest. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Most vulnerable stuff. So
My man, like his booty hole tickled with a feather. That type shit.
hey, we out of film, man. We using
nah,
film?
dog. We got another
What?
a world according to Los.
Oh man,
You don't want to hear it, dog?
I think
I
I
think
probably
this is
should.
decent, dog.
Not after what you just said.
So, the world according to Los today is baked chicken is a struggle meal. Now, I'm gonna give y'all a little insight into me. I'm a WIC baby. You know what WIC is?
I've heard of it
You've heard of it?
Yeah.
I'm a WIC
in
baby.
passing.
Government assistance. So
King
I don't-
Vitamin.
Yes.
And kabooms.
And the block of cheese.
And the block of government cheese.
all that
Commodities.
shit. Now I don't want y'all to feel sorry for me because I didn't know I was poor growing up. Betty Joe did a great job,
It's a solid childhood.
but I was a sharp child, so I understood what was going on. So we would make groceries. That's how Louisiana people say it: make groceries.
You gotta tell
Go
me.
get groceries. That's how other people say it. But we make groceries. So when my grandmother would make groceries for the month, we would have like I'm gonna break it down between days,
Okay.
like 30 days. So we would have 15 days of Tostitos, pizza, ice cream cones, bologna sandwiches, noodles, all that good shit.
Yeah.
Cereal was awesome. So after we blow through that 15 days, then my grandmother would start cooking the good foods that she bought. You know what I'm saying? The lasagnas, the rice and gravy with
Whole
fried
system.
chicken, all that stuff. But being on government assistance, you get paid once a month. So when you get to that last 10 days, grandma would go in the deep freezer
Yeah.
and pull out like bags and bags of leg quarters.
Damn, headquarters.
Leg quarters. So for that last 10 days, we eating shit like baked chicken, English peas.
You and these English peas,
I fucking
man.
hate English peas,
Clearly.
dog. And like that is the reason I believe baked chicken is a struggle meal, because that's what we ate when there was absolutely nothing else to eat in the fucking house.
Social media has taught me that you are not alone in that. With thinking that baked chicken is a struggle meal.
And then
I
fucking
ain't see no
Boston,
problem with it.
Boston market fucking sucks as well. I don't even know how we had that discussion. Like, people are willingly going to Boston market. Like, I'm hungry.
Los Elite is at Boston Market.
Right?
I'm so confused.
I'm
right now.
confused. But again, like, I saw his house growing up. He lived on the south side. He had a house. I grew up in the projects. We ate baked chicken when we fucking had to. He ate baked chicken on a Tuesday regularly. You know what I'm saying? Like
with Mrs. Dash.
and with me. So to me, baked chicken is a fucking struggle meal, man. You got anything else today, dog?
I had something, but I forgot what it was. Like I legit forgot what it was. So we might have to cut it.
Well, you can cut it, dog. But once again, it's your boy Logo.
And the Ancient One. And if you see me in the paint on that court, if you ain't dunking it, I'm chunking it.
Huh?
You seen it.
As usual, we out here working, my guy.
You ain't gonna hit it?
I hit it, dog.
Oh, you hit it? Let me see the swag again.
We out here working, my guy.
Aye.
E-Wow.
That's it. We gone.
All right, DB, you can get the painting.
Feel like the end, but baby, this is the beginning. Yeah, we still ask forgiveness, even though we've been sinning. Every day I wake up, feel like I'm testing my luck. I told my mama, pray for me, earth was weird as fuck.